Welcome back to the show, the YMSL show here. We got Norman, Commish in studio. We got Yogi, our producer. Thank you for the intro video. We have an exciting lineup tonight, and wasting no time, let's get right to it. Our first guest is none other than Teddy Ishak, Ti. Wanted to speak, wanted to get onto the show, wanted to discuss a few things, so we give him the platform to speak his mind as always. Ti, are you there?
There he is.
Ti, my man, welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up, boys? Thank you for having me on here. I love it.
How
This is
are you?
amazing. I couldn't wait. I'm waiting a year and a half already for this.
Yeah, listen, we got to keep even our prize guests on ice sometimes and unleash you when the time is right.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I needed this one more than ever. I got to make my case. I got to make my case this year. I think anybody who really wants to be a captain should always make their case.
Ti, go ahead, make your case. You got the commish here, and you got Z here, and you got hopefully all the listeners listening. So, but what do you have to say?
Look at Norm over there.
First of all, it's been no secret that you're vocal for wanting to be a captain. You send Mazat platters out, you send Ranger tickets out, you do what you got to do.
Whatever it
But is that
takes.
going to work? It's not about that in the end of the day. It's about, are you a good captain, Tia?
Yeah, so I think I am. First of all, let me start by saying, I take the integrity of the league very seriously. I really do. It means a lot to me that you guys afford me the opportunity to be a captain those 2 years. So I take that to heart. I try to make sure that my team. If you look the last 2 years, you didn't see my team arguing with any umps. We didn't get into arguments with umps. We weren't fighting with umps. We weren't fighting with the other team. We didn't have any of those issues. Did we have our own little blowups in house? Yeah, and I don't think that's such a bad thing. Maybe it could be a little bit toned down, which of course I'll work on. But I think it's important that there is some fire, some energy. You want captains who are going to care, who are going to give everything that they have, literally everything that they have to the team. At the end of the year, regardless of the blowups or not, I think if you go, as a man, if you go to the guys who played for me, they'll tell you I was a good captain, because I cared. I cared about them. I cared about them as people. I cared about the team. I cared about the league, and I'll always give it 150%, and there's no doubt about it. So, I definitely think I want that opportunity one more time, and I'm ready for it. And I just think this is my year. Of course, I said it last year, but certain things that have occurred over the course of this past year or more recently, giving me just that boost of confidence that the best is yet to come.
Okay, it's a good pitch, good opening pitch, but we got to grill you on some questions.
I love it.
You had a couple incidents, not necessarily as a captain, but also as a player. And then, again, last year as a captain, where it may not be with the other team, which is, a little questionable when you are talking about being a captain. Get into it with your teammates here or there. I know you want the best out of them and the best out of yourself, but how do you defend that? You could ask specific guys, this guy did that, this guy,
No, listen, I'll
blowing
never
up
put
on
it on
me.
any.
So.
I'll never put blame on anybody, at the end of it all. Whatever happened, happened. And I will say that I think when it comes to me, I think things get blown out of proportion a little bit more than they really are. Yeah, we played like crap that day, and I yelled at us all. When I'm yelling, I'm constantly making sure that I'm cursing at myself or yelling at myself. I'm letting them know this is me also. I played horrible. I'm involved in this yelling, and I don't mind if someone yells at me for playing horrible. We got to get better. We got to be better. And sometimes a team needs that. When you see a team sleepwalking through things, including yourself, you got to find a way to get things going. And a lot of times, just being nice and being happy, just doesn't do it. It seemed like it was a wake up call for us. We played a lot better after that. I always, sometimes there is a method to things that I do, not always, but sometimes there is. And I think I manage it well after those situations. So every team is going to have situations, teams are going to have blowouts. How do you handle those situations? I think I did a good job in handling those situations 2 years in a row. And, I think I grow from it and I get better from it.
I don't think that the captains that don't have the blowups are just happy-go-lucky and this or that. I think they're very, very intense, but they're just not as public. Like, they'll huddle up and they'll talk to their team, where you tend to make it a public display. you have a little Bobby Knight in you where half of the times you're really off the wall, and the other half of the time you're just acting and throwing a chair across the gym or something, but I don't think it's fair to the other captains to say that they're not as intense because they're not blowing up at their team.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm more, that they're not intense or whatever it might be. This is who I am. The one thing you're going to get about me, my teammates are going to get about me is straightforward, straight shooting. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to sit here and baby you. We're all grown men, and if we're going to get into it with each other, I have no problem if one of my teammates came at me. No problem. And I tell my guys that if you see me slacking, come at me. I have no problem with it. Wake me up. Sometimes we need it. We're grown men. We have a lot of things on our mind also. Sometimes, it takes something to trigger that wake up call sometimes and get you guys going. And for me, it's all on my sleeve. I hide nothing. There's nothing that I hide, so this is who I am. This is me, and I think that little bit, there's so much more good that I do that I think outweighs those little blow ups here and there. I really believe that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's a lot of pluses that you provide. You get masseuse, you get a stretcher, you get drinks, snacks. So there are some pluses to playing for TI. I've definitely seen it across the line.
Yeah, you know what? And I have more things in mind that I want to do. I want to take it to a whole nother level. Those are always my ideas. I'm always trying to give my team whatever it takes. Listen, if you ask the guys, they tell me I want this bat, they'll have it the next day. They want this
TI,
thing, they'll have
question
it the
for
next
you.
day.
Question. Do you think that out of, there's 8 captains, there's 88 other players. Do you think that there's even 1 or 2 players that would be upset if you drafted them?
That's a good question. I think there could be, obviously, but I think once they played with me, they would get over it and they'd see that I really do care. I care about the league. I care about the players. I care about my team. I care about it all, and I think the way you win over players is to show them how much you truly care about them and the team and how much you just really want to win. And you'll provide any tool that you can to give us that opportunity to win a championship, because everything else, if you don't win a championship, it's not a successful season, in my opinion. It's just not. There's only one goal, and that goal is to win a championship. And I know how to do it,
TI,
and I want that opportunity again.
TI, are there any other words that you would have to say, make a final pitch to be a captain? You have everyone out there listening. What do you got to say?
Listen, bottom line is this. Number one, I'll do anything to win, which means, you know, I'll play any position. I'll go anywhere. I'll put myself anywhere in the order. Whatever my team needs to do to win, I'll do that for them. There's I don't want to get too controversial, obviously, right now, because I'll save that for the season. Hopefully, once I'm a captain, I got to give Norm a little
You love to
something to
make
go
it a
with.
little controversial.
The other thing is, don't forget about the weather, Norm and Zach, because remember who controls the weather. All right, I can only do that if I'm a captain. I let you know that, Zach. All right, but no, overall, listen, I want the opportunity. I literally live and breathe YMSL softball all year round. I think Norm thinks he gets a break from everybody else, but he doesn't get a break from me during the course of the year.
It's crazy how much snow could be on the ground, or how cold it is, or how non-softball your head is in, and Ti will just send me a text out of nowhere about when are sign-ups, when is the video coming up, and everything.
I need it.
I
I
will
need
tell
it.
you this, Ti. I think there's 25 or 26 people that checked the box this year that they want to be captain,
Wow.
and I think the names are better than ever. Like, there's some really interesting candidates, people that didn't check the box in many years. All of a sudden this year, everyone wants to be a captain. So it's going to be very, very tough for you after the last couple of years.
But listen, at the same time, I think my team did a great job. I mean, overcoming a lot both years. I mean, you go back to 2 years ago, where I lost half my team, literally, and then my number one pick's not there for game 3. We went pretty far that year. Last year, the championship team, JT lost one game that happened to be to us. If Nabi doesn't, miss on one pitch, it's a whole different game. If a line drive doesn't hit Edmund at second base, we're up 4-0 instead of 2-0. So, all these little things and I had Eddie Michon with his eyes, and I battled through a lot. And I think my team always came to play. And I think that's somewhat of a testament to me, testament to the guys, but I find a way to get them going. And I think that's what you want in the league. Names are great, but what is the guy going to do for his team? How passionate is he to win this thing? How badly does he want to win it? What will he do to win it? Will he keep the integrity of the league also while doing all of that? And you got to check yes to all those things for me, and just mark me down as the captain and get it over with. Just let's go.
Love it. That's a great pitch, Ti. Hope everyone here heard you loud and clear. I think it's, you're putting your best foot forward always, and good luck to you being a captain. I hope it works out because I know how badly you want it, and I know how bad you would how much you would put into it. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. Norm, Zach, you guys are the best. Great show. Congratulations on it. Let's keep it going. And I'm always here for, I'm always wanting to be on the show. So if you ever need me for anything, I'm always around.
Thank you, Ti. Good to speak to you.
Thank you, guys. I
Ti,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
All right, brother.
Z, first of all, how does our producer Yogi decide to give Ti that platform to make a case and not the other 25 people? Like, what is it about Ti that he manages to get his way on the air?
I think it's very clear. He must have sent Yogi a Mazza platter or 2 or 3 and wiggled his way onto the show because, definitely he wanted to state his case. He's very vocal about it, so give him that platform to speak up.
I happen to love Ti. I think his personality is hilarious. I think he's a very unique, obviously, he's a very unique individual guy. But he kept mentioning the integrity of the league, but he's the one who's had the blow-ups on the sidelines. He's the one cursing to his team. But that's the integrity of the league. That's the issue. Or like poor Alan Jamal, if he gets drafted by Ti a third time, he's got to go another year of abuse under him. So that's also the integrity of the league.
Yeah, definitely a factor. We'll see how the committee votes and how it plays out for Ti. I know he does want it badly. Yeah, that's that. And speaking of unique, one-of-a-kind individuals, our next guest, Norman, is none other than Danno Tawil. Danno.
Okay, we are back from our Rushmore Construction commercial break. Thank you, Rushmore Construction, our newest sponsor. Call Sam Loudon for any of your construction needs. Z, we're moving at a beautiful pace. I actually have an in-studio guest for you. So get your questions ready for the one.
Wow.
For the only. You can see his nice shoulder over here. None other than Danno. Danno in the house.
YMSL Nation, baby! I was going to be like Chris Collinsworth. I was going to slide over, but then I was going to take him right out of the screen.
Wow,
does it get
Danno.
any better? Z.
What a surprise. Welcome to the show. Great
Thanks,
to have you.
Here. Great to be here.
And when I
Great
heard
to be
Danno
back,
was
isn't
coming,
it?
I got rid of the tea that I was drinking. I've now upgraded to a little scotch with Danno.
Cheers. Cheers. Enjoy. Let it rip. Danno, feels good to be back, doesn't it?
It feels unbelievable to be back. Really just can't wait for another season to be back in the saddle. Still a little sting from the World Series, how that ended.
Let's go rapid fire. That World Series was a sweep. We have not seen a sweep in a long time. What happened there? You guys were on a roll.
It was crazy that Sunday. The Friday, Sunday, we were victims of the schedule, so to speak. It took us a long time to beat Warriors, and that Friday game we were on such a high. Sunday was a tough weather day. And I remember that day was a tough weather day, and I just remember the feeling in our clubhouse. Nobody said it to each other, but I think we were fighting let's split here. Let's get a split. We haven't been swept all year.
Right.
And that first game, we went back and forth. I really think that was a very good game in the series. Fun fact: nobody really fielded so well, but their heavy hitters came out and we struck back. I think we were even up 7-4 in that game. Maybe
first 4 innings of that game, it was
crazy.
It was insane.
And then we lost that game, and then we got swept. And once you get swept, then the Friday game came, and they played their best ball that day. Like
they did.
Max diving plays, Joe G, Hank, all these.
They
guys.
showed out. They didn't want to let the series linger, and they slammed the door right shut.
Very talented squad, and dude, 3 out of the 4 years now, 2 years already, we got swept in the conference finals, and
TLM, you got swept.
TLM.
Zach, so many people forget TLM took the lead in the top of the 16th inning.
Crazy.
They scored a Lee Zakaria sac fly. They scored in the top of the 16th and then gave up 2 in the bottom, David A. Cohen.
Crazy.
Nuts. I'll never forget watching that day. I was in left field. It was Father's Day. I was late to the barbecue, and I just couldn't leave the field. Could not leave the
Infield in. Outfield in. 1-0 to David D.C. Cohen. DC drives one. That's a base hit. 1 run will score. Here's Farka. Here's the play to play. Save! And the Knights are going to the World Series. David D.C. Cohen, a walk-off hit to score 2.
field.
It's also like my bestest of friends around me also. It's so much fun watching me lose, man. So much fun. You don't understand. You know, and I'm a loser too, you know, like I'm not a winner, you know? So the rundown TLM, the gas, it's like just like, oh, it happened to Danno again. Go high stepping with the soft balances, one hit.
One hit, everyone knows the rules.
That's the only thing that makes it into the Taj no matter what every year. I'm one hit at first base to Selly, and then he didn't touch third.
The 2 most memorable YMSL days in this tenure since 2019. Father's Day 2019 was Sal Alice gets the hit, Al Gamal misses third, Danno loses that game. The second most memorable game is the 2 extra inning games in a row that
Unbelievable.
TLM lost.
Crazy.
Both
People forget the first game was like 13 innings.
Exactly. It was a great game, an epic game, the first game. And both games on Father's Day, both games Danno came out the loser on both games.
Crazy.
But the 2 most epic games in the last 6 years.
I could have had a body of work already where I could be, he needs to retire me, you know, instead, you know, I need to move tragically to get something in YMSL, you know, it's crazy.
Like Z, it's like having your shake and bake game and then playing another game as crazy as that. That's what that TLM loss was. It's 2 ridiculous games in a row. It was nuts.
Crazy. It seems like it's heart-wrenching, Danno, because you had a couple 1 seeds.
Yeah. And then you get there 2 years ago and you just, I'm gonna do it. You know, I had to hit his thing in the casino.
Right. Oh yes, you were dead drunk.
But you had Danno celebrated with us, memorable. But Danno, you know, a lot's to be said about the way you captain a ship. You have success. It's not easy to be a 1 seed, to make it to the semis, to make it to the World Series. Even though you're coming up short, it still says something, because as a player on another team, I would love to play on your squad any day of the week, and I know that you're right there, and it's just about getting over the hump. Sometimes you can't catch the breaks, and it seems you're at the raw end of the stick here, but
we're going to do it one of these days, but thank you, dude.
You're going to get it done. You have the Orioles, so tell us a little bit about that. What was your favorite memory dating back to the O's? Because I know we battled in that World Series, but
that was unbelievable. That was also a weather game 3.
Crazy.
You got to fight the elements.
At Logan Road? That was game 3?
No, maybe it was game 2 or something like that. We were not going to play, and then we just said, let's play, and we went there. It was great.
Yeah, we played maybe first pitch was at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
That was the end of the dark era right there.
But that was Orioles was like
that was a crazy series.
That was Maxie Deed, that was Jordy, that was Maurice Haber, that was JT. It was just Shalou. It was just everybody came together. The leadership of that team was unbelievable. You had JT and Mo Haber and me for the Dahaks. Like my clubhouse is very Dahak oriented. I've learned over the years, that how important it is to slow the game down, really understand the rules, all that type of stuff. Haber and JT really did a lot of that, or a lot of the heavy lifting.
But you're actually one of the best with the rules. You know every rule. You know the playing time, the pinch running. You know everything that's going on.
I still have to text you before this. It's so complex, the slotting, the whatever.
But you'll always text me like on Thursday or Friday.
Before. I want to set my line. I want to know my thing.
It's a pre-thing. Yeah. What happens if this happens or that happens? Yeah, you'll always check from before.
But O's was awesome. Louis Franco also on O's.
He had a big hit.
What about Kush?
Alzy.
Alzy, you really had a great squad.
Alzy.
I don't know how you all mentioned
It's crazy. Mehila. Whatever, it was wild. It was wild.
Danno, you've been around a while now. You have the golden era of Bobby Marabi at times. Then you had the dark era of Marabi at times, moving into the Norman era. Tell us a little bit about that and how the league's evolved.
Yeah, crazy. That's one of the reasons why nobody remembers the O's. Nobody remembers it because it was
Crazy.
the last year of the Dark Ages. And we couldn't even do it the golden age of Marabia. There was a golden age. There was a honeymoon phase with Marabia. Like
Expos,
Oh, yeah.
Untouchables, that was golden age
Age.
Moravia.
Golden
Marlins
age,
was
yeah.
golden age Moravia.
Golden.
Great.
Golden.
So yeah, it sucks to kind of have a forgotten championship, but it's still every year it's right out in front of you. It's super exciting. It's new pitchers and catchers. We're reporting after winter vacation. We're reporting.
Yeah.
Gotta lose this weight. One thing that I really, really learned is that you have to be a captain that does more. You have to do more. I really plan on playing 3B this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come
Breaking news.
on already. Come on already. And
Right. Take it over.
got to do more. Your team has to be able to rely on you for more, not just rah-rah suskumba. You got to be able to do it,
Why did Danno move himself from third base to catcher? He was his own captain. He made that move himself and pushed himself to catcher.
Because it's a lot to handle. Not the 3B, the captaining, and making sure that your plays are right and whatever. But you got to do it. That's it. It's stupid not to.
Did you like your time as a catcher? Because I thought you were phenomenal. You were right up there.
Loved. But if you have the leather to be a catcher, you have the leather possibly, to go back to 3B. The arm is what we're a little worried about, But I don't know. Sling it.
Well, let me tell you
Forget
this.
about
Sling it. Let her rip.
Let her
rip.
rip. Imagine I played next to you, sorry, dude, but like you'd be right in my,
Nice.
ear being like, dude, just sling it. Just sling it. You used to be the best in the golden era of Bobby. You were the top
Yeah.
third baseman.
I was good.
Yeah.
When we played together on Cleveland and on Rockford, there was not a third
Brick
baseman
wall.
as good as you. You were great. You
Gotta
were
go back.
great.
Yeah. You play in. You smother that ball. You're like a real
I
wall
like
over
playing even
there.
with the bag, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let me ask you this.
and Nate Patesh, who I play with very often, he doesn't have a great arm either. So it's not nothing to get in your head about. It's just make that play and rip it on over, and you're good.
But Nate's a gamer, There's a lot of good 3Bs
Nate's a
in
gamer.
this league.
Nate was a gamer.
Yes,
Was
retired.
Nate
Did
first
he retire?
he retired, and that was writing on the wall when he missed Game 5 of the World Series a couple of years ago for more money. But great YMSL family, but they're slowly dissipating. You had Steven retired, Nate retired, Lewis somehow didn't retire, and Nate B, your boy, was tinkering with not playing this year, which I want
Absurd.
to smack him, and I still want to smack him.
It's only because your rules are so non-negotiable. Nate B would like to sit on this for a little bit, lengthen the decision process, You won't let him sit, It'd be like, oh, you know, you ask, it's like, oh, I gotta make a move here. So
Right.
If I was gifted,
Calls the bluff. Norman calls the bluff.
calls
Right.
every bluff. He's like, dude.
see, if I was
Yeah,
gifted
yeah.
with an arm like that, I would not be able to wait for sign up. Let me sign up. This is my best thing. What is Nate B without that right arm? I don't care. I mean, I'm sorry.
He wants you to wine and dine him. You got to bring it all into the fold for Nate B to sign. Not easy to sign that contract.
Nate B, as you get to know him, another personality of the YMSL that when you get to know him better, there's so many layers there.
So many dads. in
He's
this guy.
actually hilarious. That's a good interview, by the way. Nate B interview is a good interview.
It's a great interview.
You think so? Yeah.
Great interview. There's so many layers to Nate B.
Let me ask you something. Let's get serious for a minute because Danno's thinking of moving to third base, he just said. But this year with the shortstops, we have Zach. We have Abadi. We have Gold Glove winner last year, Joey Cohen. You have Gabri. You have Mark Braha coming back. You have Sammy Soroya in the league.
Sammy Soroya, Boston Sammy Soroya?
No, Sammy Soroya, Maor Yeshiva, top night league guy.
Oh, Sammy Soroya, the blonde-haired kid.
Unbelievable player. And like 20 years old or something.
He was on Cucumbers.
No.
No.
But it's a big faux pas because he's a Wednesday night pick and he's 20 years old.
Okay.
You better start
bro.
locking in, dude. You bet. I'm worried over here.
Maybe this interview's a wake-up call for Danno. He's going to start plugging in, doing his research,
I think it's a wake up call for
checking in
me.
spring training.
I think it's a wake-up call for all of us.
So you got Sammy Roy 7. That's
listen, with all these shortstops, all of a sudden, a guy like Ruby Saka is going back to short center. A guy like Uri Adler is going to short center or third. Every position is going to be deeper than ever before. It's all a trickle down. So now you're trying to go back to third at the same time that that's happening. It's not so easy.
Not so easy. That's okay. That's okay.
I think Danno's shown the willingness to do whatever.
Yeah, just give myself 3B. Well, let's see how the team materializes, but it gives you, not assuming I'm a captain, but it gives you the flexibility to do a lot of different things.
You know what? Danno just said, not assuming I'm a captain. He was victim to a committee shock one year. After one hit, I thought he was a shoo-in to be a captain. He was like, he's such a good captain, and he did not get the votes in the committee. And I remember making the call. I said, Danno, you didn't get it. I was shocked. In those days, we didn't have the live broadcast. That's another thing we brought to the league, the live reveal. In those days, we called the guys and said, you made it, you didn't. And I was shocked when Danno didn't make it. How do you handle that, Danno?
Not well. I was upset.
Danno, question. Do you have Norman, he's your brother-in-law. He's also the commissioner of the league. You think you get any preferential treatment or maybe the complete opposite?
The antithesis of preferential treatment, dude.
I've been a witness to that too. I don't think it is preferential treatment. So if people think that, I think they're so wrong.
That time where I got tossed for bumping Tommy, remember that?
He never did!
I think that was
the epic gift.
The epic gift. I was just excited, but it's like, you bumped me out, whatever. I think that was Mother's Day. If I'm not mistaken. And after that, I went to brunch. We went to brunch by my mother-in-law's house. I got into her house. My wife sees me. She's like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "I got into it with NRJ today." She's like, "No, come on, oh no, you didn't." So then Norm's always gonna come a little later because he's cleaning up the fields, the whole thing. I'm having my calzones. Norm walks in.
10 calzones at a time. He's having pouring the calzones.
Still a little hungry. I started to have a comment. I was like, Norm, it really wasn't a bump. It was like, it absolutely was a bump, and you absolutely were terrible.
Right, there's no wiggling out of this one.
I don't think it was that. I think it was the time when Leo Casson wasn't wearing
the jersey.
Uniform.
It sounds like there were many instances.
Umpire Tommy, I don't know what happened to this guy. Guy got soft. The guy can't handle anything anymore. Won't umpire lead. When Danno bumped him, that was total by accident. I don't think it was that. It was Leo not wearing the uniform, which pisses me off more than anything when someone's not wearing a uniform, because I won't put him on the highlight. You saw it with Gabri this year.
Leo P, too.
Leo P made a web gem. No one
Seems like a Danno theme here. He doesn't have his soldiers in order. They're all wearing different color shirts.
That's terrible.
Leo P made a web gem on the racetrack. No one has ever seen it. I won't show the clip because he's wearing a gray sweatshirt. So that was the day we got into it. That was
the same day.
Oh, it was the same day?
It's different.
That's funny.
It was the same day.
I didn't realize
it was the same guys. Crazy.
Wow, that's great. So totally the opposite there.
But I think Norm's fair all around. He has his
goes to show you that even brother-in-law, he's gonna stick to it.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. It doesn't matter who you are, and that's why we're in the golden age right now. How long can we ride this? Right. That's the question.
We are in the golden age, and Zia, I've gone after you as well. You know that as a captain.
For sure.
We've had our
I've been warned.
I don't think I've had a smooth sailing with anyone except T.I.
Except T.I.
I think it's been bumpy with everyone. But like Danno said, I try to be fair to everybody. We gotta just be fair. But yeah, if no one's tough as the commissioner, it's just gonna be a free-for-all. So I'd rather be a player, just go, You embrace
the real role that you're in. This is the role you're not.
That's the role.
You're not here to make friends.
Right.
You're not here to be soft.
You're doing the job.
I wish I lived in that role. I'd be like, you still like me? Right. Oh, you gotta wear jerseys, but if you don't wear jerseys, it's okay.
Right.
Danno, speaking of doing the job, all right, you're a captain. Do you think that you did anything wrong last year on Cool Runnings? Because listen to this list of guys that are not returning from your squad. You have Mickey Tawil, you have DK, you have Jig Cone, and I believe there's a few others, Norman, I don't know the final registration list, but do you think there was something that you did to send these guys say, I can't take it anymore?
Could be. Could be, dude. I mean, you always gotta look at. You gotta look at. I can't believe DK's not back. How is he not?
How is DK not
How
back?
is he not back? They're throwing
How
you
is he
some
not back?
cockamamie. If it was a summer league, I'd be in. What are you talking about? It's not a summer league. It never was a summer league. So what are we
And you
talking
were in for the
about?
last 10 years.
Oh, when you make it a summer league for me, I'm in.
Right.
Dave.
Right.
Dave. What are you talking about? We're this close. We're sniffing it. We're sniffing it. And you're exiting the regime? Yeah, I think it's too much for him. I think I'm too much for these guys. I'm too much for Mickey, you know?
You sent Mickey packing after a
Mickey's
couple of
packing,
seasons.
you know? Guy's got 5 sets of twins. I don't know what the hell the gas is. Is Mike C back? Mike C's out. Mike C's out.
There's another one.
These guys couldn't get out quick enough either. Like the day I said registration, out.
You have the fast sign-ups and you have the fast exits. They seem to all be from Cool Runnings and the Jungle. We sent them all packing. Opened up 10 spots for Norman.
Bagabi's back. Farka's back. Elsak's back. Leo P's back. Edmund Beta's back. Danno's back. Losing 5 guys.
For the draft. Top half of the draft's all back. The bottom half seems you maybe abused them or something. I don't know what you did.
Almost every one of those guys was an immediate back. First minute, first second, yes, can't wait also.
But the Dave's a real head scratcher, and it's a big loss. Like, it might not be a big loss for everybody, but it's a big loss for me.
Yeah.
You know, he's my boy. I'm in this league with him. It's a whole guess.
For sure. I feel the same thing myself now.
It's a big loss for the league, not because he's the most talented player in the world, although he's probably the best defensive left fielder glove-wise.
Yeah, sick.
You can't see a better glove in left field. You can't.
Yeah.
But it's a big loss for the league because that's a YMSL guy. He's playing probably since like almost as long as I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like, and you're playing. Like,
He's a
playing-
character.
Playing 15 years in the league probably.
Boy, did he take that decision lightly. Now he can't even get back in, whatever the whole is.
Right. Oh, it's not summer this year? All right, I'm out. What?
It was a crazy...
Yeah.
I didn't yell at him, but his explanation was just brutal. Brutal
Yeah.
explanation.
Danno, tell us your closest season that got away. I know you had a couple. You had a couple of 1 seeds, and you had coming off a World Series loss. Which team did you feel maybe,
Yeah, TLM.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have to agree.
TLM was a wild team, you know? Lee Zaccario
Good
also
team.
on that team. Crazy.
Wow.
You know?
One of the best.
John
drafted
Eliezer?
teams- One of the best drafted teams you'll ever see. Threat level midnight. Diddy was
Yeah.
great until that Farka play.
Joe G.
Joe G.
Joe G. Who was your left fielder? Marty was on the other team. DK was on that team? Oh no. Lee Zaccario was on
Zaccario
that
in
team.
2B.
Edmonds.
Edmonds at 1B.
Eddie
T.I.
Harari
short
as a
center.
rookie. It was a sick.
John Eliezer, shortstop, and John Eliezer pulling the... I don't know what he said. You know, I'm going to Israel, I'm going to Florida, I don't know where you're going. You know, how you doing this to us?
Right.
How you doing this to us? The guy hits and fields. Not just fields, you know?
Yeah.
He hits and fields.
Threat level midnight also one of the
And he
best,
left you hanging.
Yeah.
one of the best team names that you'll ever see. I'm a huge Office fan, and Threat level midnight just hit me.
It makes sense, but when you're in the lineup,
It's
threat level
so
midnight.
good.
You know?
It was so good. That team really had a chance, but the Knights.
Yeah, dude, they
Magic.
were ready. Yeah, they did magic. Absolutely. But that's the one that got away for sure.
Dano, take us into your personal life a little bit. I'm hearing you have a son named Michael.
Sure.
I'm hearing this kid's a basketball stud. How could it be from your loins, dare I say, that you have produced a kid who's hitting jumpers? He probably scored 50 points today. How
It's
could
crazy.
It be?
But I think it's still early, you know, still early. He's got to keep working and whatever, but I think it's all from Rack, my wife, you know. I'm not a bad athlete. I'm just not a good basketball player.
Classic Dano that it's still early. Like the kid could still get bad. He's good
I've
now,
asked-
but
I've
could
asked-
still
I've
be
asked
bad.
around.
Right. Why can't it still
You can
why
get
can't
bad.
it still be
You gotta
early?
Keep working. Yeah, you got to keep working.
Why can't it still be early that he's going to be the best ever?
Could be. It will be. It will be. It will be. God willing. God willing.
Okay, good.
But I would rather him, you know that he has a Navi test the next day than do this crap.
Right.
You know, like it's
Right.
crazy. He's taking my kishkas out with the. Don't worry, I need to study. You need to study.
Yeah, your family's very big on being studious in school. I know, like the Tawil lineage, Kata, very big
The
into.
drill sergeant.
Yeah,
Drill sergeant,
yeah. Big Mike. Like if you failed the test, You were very smart, though. You didn't fail the test.
I just worked hard. I wasn't smart. I just worked hard.
But if you did something bad in school, who came down on you? Bad question. Cat killed you.
Cat would put you through the ringer, you
Right.
know, and then at night you'd have a visit from Big Mike, but he'd be soft, you know.
Did you fear the Big Mike arrival at night?
For sure. Like, did she get it? Sometimes Cat Dad didn't have a chance to even tell Big Mike, so you'd escape it, you know. But it's lingering, you know. And now I understand how that happened. Like, there's some things that I don't address with Rack right that day, you
Right.
know. Like, you know, the next day be like, oh, by the way, Mike pulled this bullshit, you know. Like, you gotta do that, you know. You gotta do that. Crazy.
Now, would you ever imagine when you were growing up that two of your brothers would become rabbis when you were growing up in that house?
Never once.
Never.
Never once. Crazy. We were a religious fam. You're a
Right.
religious fam. I mean, but also Saturday mornings we used to watch Garfield and Friends. You know,
Right.
at the beginning. Then my parents made decisions to not watch TV, the whole gas. And then my brothers everybody went to Israel and had a different reaction. You know, I went to Israel also, but I came home early.
Right. You came home early.
Came home early.
Oh, you didn't even last a year.
5 months.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 5 months. I went to my Baseret, and then when my parents went to visit me in January, winter vacation, I said, take me home with you. Yeah. And they're like, we'll
Wow.
take you home only if you could get into college.
Right.
So I had to work.
Had to wing it.
Yeah, crazy.
Had to wing it from there.
Danno went to Hunter and called play-by-play of the hockey team. Hofstra. And
Hofstra, did you really?
Lacrosse.
Oh, I thought.
Lacrosse. Wow.
Right.
Gotta pull it.
Hofstra.
No, but
Gotta pull.
and then I also had a radio show actually that I produced. You know, It was
Really? Wow.
cool, but it was part of a class. It's a class. Like you're in the AV, you're in the
Yeah.
communications department.
Let me ask
But
you
Danno,
this.
now you're coaching two hockey teams. Tell us what are you doing there? How are you coaching two teams at the same time in the same season?
I don't even know, man. You know, that's why I'm gaining the poundage. You know, that's why I'm gaining the poundage.
That's the reason, right there.
But you can't you can't have anything nutritious. You're grabbing and going. What are you grabbing and going? I live in
Right, your time is
7-Eleven.
limited.
I'm having turkey wraps from Dougie's, you know, out of the thing.
Yeah.
Washing it down with Sour Patch Kids.
And then, let's say he'll finally have an off night and he comes home. Nothing gets this guy more upset than a Tuesday night coming home, parks his car, walking in all excited, and he smells the salmon on a Tuesday night. How does she do that to you? How?
It's just part of her makeup. She's gonna have fish night no matter what.
Right.
So either you like it, you don't like it. It exists.
But you've been clear that you don't like
I don't
it.
love fish. I don't love fish.
No, you
I'll stomach it, but I don't love it.
Right. Okay.
Danno.
Yo.
So yeah, she usually doesn't know if you're joining. This year, she happened to know right away. Our sources told us. How did that happen? How did she know right away this year?
Now she started doing this whole playing tennis thing. You know that I have to. The tennis is the new fad of
I played with her
her
on
life.
Saturday.
So the fact that I'm standing in here, I'm like, dude, the YMSL is a layup this year. You know, I'm definitely
Right.
doing it no
Lock,
problem.
easy.
A lock. She's like, yeah, no. Well, she actually said it's not the same what she does and what I do. Mine is from 8 to 2. Hers is 20 minutes every week. Right? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You left at 6, you got home 9:30. What are you talking about?
Right.
That's 3.5 hours right there. That's 3.5 hours.
And she plays tennis like 6 nights a week also.
Crazy,
She's
crazy.
going pro.
And I don't begrudge it. But all I'm saying is that there can't be any comments when I'm hitting the field and doing what's necessary to win a championship in YMSL in my Major League Baseball. You know?
Yeah.
Here's the difference with Danno. And I have my question, I'm going to get there. But here's the difference with Danno. Everyone else will say, all right, I'm playing from 9 to 12, I got to get home or whatever. He also negotiates in his contract with his wife that he gets an hour to cool down and reprocess after the game.
I got to do calls. I got to, I got to speak to Keskizi. I got to speak to Mike C.
Yeah, the voice notes are pouring in. This,
So when
that.
she says,
I know how it is.
when she says 2, 3 p.m., that's real in the Danno life. That's
Real.
real because he
Wow.
needs to decompose. He doesn't go right into it. My
So
question,
Danno, with all the tennis, before you get to your question, with all the tennis, I think it's safe to say that when you have a bye week this year, you don't need to come dressed to the field in your gear. You could just come in your regular clothes and,
That
you
adjustment
earned it.
has since been made,
Yeah,
nothing funnier than that. He looks like a boy on
full
Purim.
garb. Yeah.
He looks like a Purim costume.
so great.
He's wearing a shiny
Crew outfit, all clean, and it's 2 p.m. Everyone's asking, what are you doing? You don't play today,
My question for Danno is UC related, Uncle Chuck
Ooh.
related, and Jack Abadie. I've noticed over the years you have not been able to join family forces and play on the same team as Jack with Chucky coaching third or anything like that. Have you ever played with them?
I don't think I ever played with Jack.
Look at that. That's
I don't think
crazy.
I ever
Wow.
played with Jack. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Really crazy. Really crazy.
Hope everything's okay over there.
Everything's great.
Okay.
Everything's great. It's just stars are not aligned.
And now, rumor has it, he put his name in the hat.
Crazy.
To be a
I just-
captain.
it's crazy.
But who knows? Maybe you won't get it. Maybe he won't get it. You never know.
Could be. Could be.
You never know. That was my great question for Dan.
That's a great question.
I had to get that off my
That's a
chest.
good one. It's a good one. I don't know how the wife triggered that question, but
The
I
whole
guess family is
familial-
family.
The family guys.
Yeah,
family guys.
Exactly. Let me ask you guys, both of you, a league question. I had Mocas, my statistician. We figured out he's good for something, Mocas, so he pulled some stats for me. Did you know this? Last year, the league, what do you think the league batted last year as a total?
I think it was higher than normal, I remember.
Yeah.
I want to say league average,
Yeah.
425.
3. It was probably the highest.
Wow.
Like in the last few years for sure. He has to go back further to see if it was one of the highest ever. That's a
Yeah.
very high batting average. Usually with
There were maybe 10 guys to hit over 500. It's
Yeah.
normally like 3, 4.
Wow.
Crazy.
I think this year, now that we have 9, 10, 11 pitchers signed up in the league, I think that average is going to go way back down, by the way. That's just my theory.
Danno, how do you approach, there's rumors that there's 10 pitchers in the draft this year. How do you approach that? Not to give any secrets, but is that something you could just say, let me leave it and see what happens?
Thing is, I'm a guy that wants a pure pitcher. Not a quasi pitcher, not a pitcher that really hits. That could also play short. So for me, if given the opportunity, I feel like I'd look to target a top pitcher.
And Danno's been consistent with that. He's been consistent with that, although he's never drafted an AB either.
You gotta get the number one pick.
Yeah.
I'm always getting this 7, 8, 6.
It's not true, Danno. I have to call you out
Tell me,
on
tell
that
me,
when it's
tell me.
not true.
Tell me.
Shake and bake year, I was a captain, and you were a captain for the Brew Crew, and you passed on AB not once,
Yes.
twice.
Yes.
Twice.
My philosophy is that I pass on him because I don't believe we could have a good enough hitting team with me as a captain not being a hitter. Then you could take an AB. You're a great
Yeah,
hitter.
but you're slotted all the way down. It's all relative.
Yeah.
You could have had him at 7 and 11 that year.
I could have passed both times.
Also, what
Because
do
he
you
had
bat
the-
these days?
that
What's
was the
batting
Israel
average?
I mean, we got to pull that up. I think maybe high threes, maybe.
Okay,
Or,
so the league average is 393. So what's your problem?
Mhm.
You're a fine hitter. You're not a power hitter,
Right,
but
right.
you're a hitter.
Yeah.
And we slotting you in the 8th round or something. You could draft whoever you want, but you do have to get the first pick, the second pick. The year he passed on AB is AB was missing those 2 weeks.
Remember the 2 weeks, guys?
2 weeks. I remember, all right. I remember. It worked out well for me.
Yeah.
Did it ever?
It worked
Did
out
it
great
ever?
for you with tuna.
Did it ever?
What else you got?
That's all I got for Danno today.
Great
Norman, what
segment.
do you have?
This is a great segment. How much more you
Great.
need? I feel like we were that game.
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
We have a great football game ahead here.
Yeah.
Why am I still around the
Beautiful.
corner?
Danno.
We appreciate you stepping into the studio as well.
Great
Let-
holiday.
Let Danno take us through his quick vacation plans real quick. Who are you vacationing with? Let the people know.
I'm vacationing
Love
with
it.
NR. Me and
Really?
we're going to the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Very nice.
Wow.
Punta Cana. This is going to be our 4th consecutive year going to the same spot. And if it ain't broke,
Wow.
don't fix it, brother. If
Don't
ain't
fix
broke,
it. Love
we're not
that.
looking to, we're not. I'm bringing my kids, so I'm not traveling. the
Right.
world.
Don't be a hero.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
be a
going,
hero.
this is what we know what to do. We know where to go. We have everything set up for us.
Is this that trip that takes place in Punta Cana?
Yes.
Or it's
Many
just
trips.
There's
This
many
breaks
different trips.
Yeah.
We're on a Jackie Jay-Z Zolta sort of trip.
Yeah.
excursion.
Yeah, an excursion. But even though we keep going to the same place, the wives will still be asking us questions like, do you think we need, I don't know, did we need it the
Well, we
last
do it,
10
yeah,
times we
right.
went? We keep going to the same place.
Doing the same drill.
Crazy. Great vibe. Where are you going?
No plans. Just very fluid, very flexible.
Yeah, Z
currently
is
rehabbing my shoulder injury, so
How you feeling?
doing that.
What's the story there?
Feeling great, thank God. Feeling good. It's gonna be tight, but we're gonna get it done.
And Z only has one infant at home. He's not on the winter vacation schedule.
Yeah. She doesn't go to school, so I'm not tied down to anything. You know,
She's your
I'll
first
go
or your second?
whenever I go.
That's his
She's my
first.
first. My
Wow,
first.
huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God.
I
Thank God.
All right.
Okay, Danno, it's been great having you. Thank you for making the journey to come in studio
In
to
studio,
It
solve
wasn't
those
going to work
connection
another way, I'll tell you
issues.
that much.
No, it
Wasn't gonna
clearly
work.
was not.
But the product is much better this way without me being stymied in my own house, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta let you loose. Gotta let you spread your wings.
Yeah.
So we're happy to get you out. Norm, anything left for Danno?
No, I think it was a great, great interview, Dan. Anything else you want to say? Anything you need to get off your chest? No, I think we
Nothing.
said it all.
Thanks for a great league, man. It's great. It's great. Great vibes this year. Let's go.
All right.
Let's make it happen. All right.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you, Danno.
Take care. Hey, love you, bud.
Thanks, Danno.
All right,
Thanks,
Danno's gonna exit out of the studio.
Stage
Danno,
right.
Danno is leaving
Stage
stage right. Look at this.
Wow. Danno was a great guest. Ti was a great
He
guest.
always brings it. He always brings the fire. He's unbelievable, and
You
inexplicably
can count on him for that.
leaving the door open with kids sleeping and whatnot. This is unbelievable what he just did. But we're gonna roll on. What else you got, Z?
I'm all good. I just wanted to know if there's any league things that we touch up on. Is registration still open? Is it closed? Any big signings? You added 2 pitchers since we last spoke.
Yeah, so one of the pitchers is Ralph Hannon, was a later sign up. Don't know what he was waiting for. He usually signs up right away. I spoke to him. I said, Ralph, just want you to know that there's now 9 pitchers. And he said, yeah, I don't care. Whoever, if I don't get a pitching job, then I'll just DH or I'll play first. And he goes, I'd rather know that I'm DHing than have someone breathing over my back that they're coming in, this and that. So that's understandable. And then Jackie Eshko, who played with you,
Yeah, he was 2-0 last year.
Yeah, he insisted that he should be a pitcher in this league. I told him, you fill out your form. He did. And he wrote pitcher and short center. So he thinks he's a pitcher in the league. So that would be 10. And then you have Yak has signed up, although his position he put was first base, I believe. And then another position change that we should note. Hank DeWeck, who's probably the best defensive first baseman in the league, or he's up there at least, he put down catcher and first base.
Wow. So yeah, I actually played with Hank in a fall league this year, and he was the catcher of our team. He was excellent back there, as expected. And you have Danno moving away from catcher, apparently, and Hank moving to catcher. I'm personally, lucky enough to play with Jigga, the best to do it at the catcher position. I think that more people should be doing it. I think that you're touching the ball every single play, and you have game-changing moments. How many playoff moments have these catchers have had? Morris Gindy and Denif, and of course Jigga so many times. I mean, catchers save runs, they save games, they result in rings. So I think more people should be actually willing to do it, and it's good to see Hank. Hank wanted to do it. Obviously, he's a lethal bat up there with the best in the league, and now a willing catcher as well. So
I was talking
yeah,
to
I think
the
it's
great
key.
Jack Abadi, who's a walking whiteboard computer for a brain. The brain on this guy is unbelievable. And we were talking about all the different positions. I really think it's the deepest draft ever, which is,
Wow.
we're talking 50 years. It's crazy. You're going to be drafting guys in the 9th and 10th round that could rip a game open. I mean, it's beyond belief. When you see the form in 95, which would come out in early Feb, you're going to be amazed by the names on this list this year. It's very, very strong.
Yeah, it's insane. A couple of chats that I'm in are going wild. We're having guys that normally go end of second, early third, going in the late fourth, early fifth. It's insane, and it's real. And it's not like those guys have fell off. It's just so much talent is accumulating in this league. It's great to see.
Also love some of the guys that check the box to be captain this year. You have some winners as captain. You have some of the old school guys. You have some new school. I'm so good with the list of captains that we have that I'm willing to not even know who the captains are till we go live on the air. Just pick any 8 from this list. Every person that checked the box, I'm good with. Just pick them and tell me who the 8 are. That's how strong they are. Usually, I have 1 or 2 that for whatever reason I don't want them to be captain that year. This year, I have nobody that I object to.
Wow, it's crazy. All signs are pointing to just a ridiculous, ridiculous season. I really can't wait. Any other housekeeping notes?
Yeah, we just need
For our
fields.
viewers over the vacation? Yeah, any field update
No
or same?
field update. I've offered to pay the people that are on certain fields that I want. I've offered to pay for them to move. I've offered to pay for their field fees at another field that they're considering.
Wow.
So I'm hoping for that. We're not going to know till the end of January because they're not motivated to get moving yet. They're on the slow boat, but we'll figure something out. We always do, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. Hopefully we could add in, a couple of primetime games this year, maybe a late afternoon on a Sunday, maybe a Friday. Those are great. I know it's been able to be happening more and more. So hopefully, that helps the field situation as well.
Yes, I love those, but as a captain how hard they are to schedule.
Tough.
Listen, we got the opening day last year. If we could get it under better weather this year, it'll be a huge help. That first week is going to be big for us. I don't want to start after Passover. We want to get 2 weeks in before Passover. I know it's cold and windy, but it makes the rest of the season go so much more smoothly. Because you don't want to go August 20th and still be dealing with this. People go away. People travel. Bar mitzvahs. All sorts of different things. Single guys want to go to parties. There's so many different people in the league. You have to remember that. So I think late July is the right time to end. It would be perfect if we could stay 2 weeks in before. We'll be in cruise control.
We'll be golden. Okay, so let's hope for a good situation. Norman, great show. Thanks for hosting Danno and for talking to him, and thanks for joining us.
And T.I., thank you, T.I., for joining.
And T.I., thank you, T.I. We will see you all next time. Thank you.
Let's thank Yogi, our producer, for all the graphics and the commercials and everything. Thank you, Yogi.
Ridiculous. Thank you, Yogi. Can't do it without you.
Thank you, Zay.